Have you ever felt stuck or unsure of where to start? If you are human, the answer is probably yes, because we've all been there. We've all felt that at times. And this typically comes from one of two places. It can come from a place of needing to know all the answers, right? Needing to have it all figured out so that it can be perfect and nothing can go wrong. This often looks like analysis paralysis, right? If I can just know everything up front and be prepared enough, nothing bad will happen, nothing will go wrong. And so as soon as that happens, then I can start, right? That's the first place. Or it could come from a place of wanting results now, right? Wanting proof that this action will yield the results that I want. And if I don't see that proof early on or even before I start, then it's not worth it, right? So why would I even go through it? And both of these beliefs can keep us stuck because here's the truth. Momentum doesn't come from perfection. It comes from movement. And results don't come from perfection, they come from consistent action. So, how then do we get to a place of movement and consistent action to get the results that you want from your life? That is what we're working towards. So, today we're going to talk about just moving, just taking action, even if it's messy, because the magic is in the doing. So, to start, I want to talk to you a little bit about the emotional cycle of change, which probably will resonate with you, resonates with me. This is built on just the common human experience that we all have, right? When we're looking towards something in our lives or a change that we want to make or direction we want to go, it starts with uninformed optimism, right? We don't know a lot about it yet, but we feel a lot of energy and positivity around it and some excitement. And it gives us sort of that initial momentum to take action. And as we act from informed optimism, inevitably we reach informed pessimism. We're starting to get some information, we're starting to take some action, we're starting to realize that we may not be very good at these things yet, right? It's really uncomfortable. There's maybe some stretch, right? And as we get to that awareness of the difficulty of the path ahead, we start to get some pessimism, which then leads to this place that has been called the Valley of Despair, which is a pretty heavy term, right? The Valley of Despair. When you start to question, is this even the right path? Why am I doing that? Is it worth it? Is it even possible, the thing that I seek? Right? And when we're in that place, that Valley of Despair, that dip, right? We started with informed optimism. It started to go down with, or uninformed optimism. It started to go down with informed pessimism. And now we're in this dip, right, of questioning whether this is all even worth it. And in that dip, we can do one of two things. We can go back, we can abandon the path and go back and find the next hit of uninformed optimism, right? Maybe this will be the thing, maybe that will be the thing, right? And you kind of seek and continually search that place of uninformed optimism because the optimism feels good, right? That gives us a little hit of dopamine and we want to be there, right? So we can do that. Or in that dip, we can just keep going, right? We can navigate the dip, then change curve until inevitably we get to informed optimism, right? Informed optimism comes after the dip. You have to experience that discomfort and the challenge and discouragement to get to the informed optimism. And from there, as we keep going, we ultimately reach success, right? So notice the journey, right? From uninformed optimism down back up to success, you navigate that dip, right? And the way that you do that is through that consistent action. We're going to go into a little bit more detail of how to navigate that change curve and what to do as you experience each of those pieces of that process. So as you think about that change curve, I want you to consider that your only job is to move forward. Your only job is to keep going one step at a time. Let it be imperfect. Let it be messy. And here's the good news. You can take the pressure off to be good at whatever it is that you are doing as you seek that path of success, right? Take the pressure off to be good. Take the pressure off for other people to approve. That's a huge burden, right, that we oftentimes carry, is looking to see if other people are approving, or do they judge me, or do they think that I'm looking silly or awkward or stupid on this path, right? Let go of all of that and let that be okay. Your only job is to continue to move forward, continue to take action one step at a time. And as you navigate each of those pieces of the change curve, it's actually really important. They all have really important pieces to teach us on our journey, right? Starting with uninformed optimism is normally that place where you sort of get that vision, right? You connect into the vision of what's possible. You connect into the potential, your potential of your future, right? You really tap into that voice of desire. Those are all really important things, right? Allowing that inner voice to sort of speak freely without really knowing all the answers or knowing all the way, right? But it begins to sort of unfold. That vision really comes to life in that place of uninformed optimism. When you hit informed pessimism, that's really important too, right? Because that is where you kind of rub up against those growth edges, right? You start to see, okay, this is where I'm going to need to build some skill. This is where I'm going to need to work a little harder. This is where I'm going to need some practice, right? And you start to bump up against those growth edges, which are okay and important, and where you really will become, right, that next version of yourself. And you need that in that place of informed pessimism. And then when you get to that valley of despair, this is where you learn to regulate through difficult, challenging emotions. This is where you learn to regulate, right, some of that discouragement and know that you keep going even in the face of doubt and discouragement and fear, right? Knowing how to regulate those emotions are a really critical, important life skill that you can really only build through practice. And you do that in that valley. And then you get to informed optimism, which is where you begin to experience that flow, right? And that's where you really cultivate that confidence in yourself, in your ability, in the vision that you have created for yourself, right? And in the life that you want to achieve, right? That comes in the informed optimism. And then ultimately success, right, is where you see the full manifestation of your purpose and of your vision, right? And of what you want to, your place of fulfillment in life, right? Ultimately comes from that place of success. So each place in the valley is important, and we need to navigate through them through consistent action, one step at a time. Okay, so here's the process. Here is how you do that. I'm going to teach you 4 steps that you can do to navigate that change curve and work through each of those different processes as you lean into that consistent action. Okay, the first one is to let it be messy. Know that that is really what it's all about, right? Practicing imperfection. Because perfection is what drives us, right? When we reach that valley of despair, perfection is what drives us to go back to sort of abandon and conclude that this must not be working and go back to the beginning and start again, right? And find that next hit. Imperfection allows us to keep going, right? Through the messiness, through the discouragement, through the hard times. Letting it be messy, letting it be imperfect is really important. That's the first step. The second step is to start small and keep showing up. So here's an interesting thing. If you are having a hard time getting started, you probably have not made the first step small enough yet, right? So make it smaller, make it smaller, make it smaller until you can do it every single day, right? If you're thinking about changing the way that you eat, right, and you're just not having success with that, so how small can you make this change? Maybe it's just adding a piece of fruit at breakfast, right? And then do that every single day until you're ready to add the next thing. If it's movement, maybe it's just 5 minutes, right, of strength training that you do every single day. And you do that until you're ready to take the next step. Make the first step as small as you need to make it so that you can be consistent. Okay, so start small and keep showing up. That's the second principle. The third one is to stay curious and receive and act on ideas. This is so powerful, right? Because I think a lot of the time we want to have everything all mapped out, all the answers clear and in place so that we can then take action, right? And that's not typically how it goes. But oftentimes, I know for myself, I at least get that first idea of a place where I can start. And then sometimes I go to a place of, well, then what next? How will I know what to do next? And the good news is you don't need to. You don't need to know what to do next. All you need to do is receive that idea for the first step and act on it. And as you act on an idea, more ideas will come, right? So you receive ideas, act on them, and let more ideas come. So cultivate that curiosity, be open to ideas, and act on them. That's the third principle. And then the fourth one is to keep going, keep going, keep going. right? Know that it's normal when you're in that valley of despair to question, maybe success isn't for me. Maybe success isn't possible. Maybe this is the wrong path and I should go back to what I was doing before, right? If I were to tell you that the success that you seek is guaranteed 1 year from now, as long as you keep going, you would keep going, right? You would keep going. And that is the principle, whether it's a year from now or 2 years from now, I don't have the answer to that, but I can guarantee to you that success will come through consistent action and as you keep going. So that's the fourth principle. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And receiving those ideas, right, that may prompt you to adjust or pivot. It's not about not pivoting or adapting at all, but it is about continuing to move forward. That's the fourth principle. If you're waiting to feel ready or to be perfect or to have it all figured out to start, let this be your sign. You do not have to be perfect. You just have to begin and then keep going. I would love to hear in the comments, what is one small step that you want to take now to begin your process to change? Whatever that vision is that you have for your life, whatever you're feeling called towards, what's one small step that you can take today and let it be messy? Please comment below. If you are interested in more support on your journey to change, change can be hard, right? It can be difficult to navigate that process, and coaching can really help you do that. So if you would like more information on how to receive that support, you can go to nourishwhoyouare.com. There's a link in the video description. You can sign up for a free coaching session where we'll do a little bit of coaching in that moment for whatever it is, wherever you want to start, whatever that changes that you're feeling called toward. And then I'll share with you what it would look like if you want sort of that more long-term support in the coaching process to support you on your journey. So go to nourishwhoyouare.com. Again, the link is in the video description. You can get more information about that. Also, don't forget to click subscribe for more strategies on how to build a life of health and well-being that are centered in self-trust and recultivating that inner wisdom that you and every other human on this earth has. Thanks so much for being here. I will see you in the next video.